This is Marty with Marty's Diesel, and today's video is going to be about some issues that we've been having with Ford parts lately that is specifically related to our old body style e-fuel system. First thing I would like to cover is going to be these Banjo washers that you see right here. This is the part that came in this bag, and this is the part that came in this bag. They are the same part number. However, they are not the same washer. Now, this looks to be like a hydraulic washer, like maybe even a British washer, and it's probably a part number like 9500-22 or 24, something like that. Let me take and put it actually on an old Banjo bolt. Say you have a leak in your factory fuel pump on your old body style, and you need to change these washers. If you get this part from Ford, I want you to first of all see how immensely difficult it is to put the washer on. That's the first thing. The second thing is that this washer also does not sit flush on the sealing surface of this Banjo bolt. So there's a good chance that if you install this Banjo washer on even an old Banjo bolt, it's going to leak. So for comparison's sake, let me take this washer off, and I'm going to take and put a old style one on. Okay, as you can clearly see, this thing fits a lot better and a lot differently. Not to mention, there is a significant thickness difference in the washer. So this is absolutely going to change where this hole sits inside your factory fuel pump. Now, the reason I use this older Banjo bolt is because I've been buying the new Banjo bolts and sending them out. The threads are actually cut different than the threads on the old Banjo bolts. They're roughly the same depth, but the sharpness on the actual threads is different. And I get it, you could say, maybe this is new and that's why it's like that, but that's not the case. It's actually cut different because when we install this Banjo bolt into my brand new fitting, you'll notice that it gets stuck and I can't go any further in, okay? The same problem happens when I install it in a factory fuel pump out of an old body style. Now, I could force this in here and it's going to make a bunch of aluminum shavings. Now keep this in mind. If you do this on my kit, you need to blow that out so that the aluminum shavings don't end up in your injectors. But the same would be true if you were installing a brand new fuel pump on your old body style. Compare that with an older Banjo bolt. Screws in effortlessly and perfectly. And has it bottoms out. One washer, and then your rear of headlines would be right there. No issue with the old bolt. The only issue is with the new bolt, and I also measured it. It is 0.005 inches larger in diameter than what the old Banjo bolts were. And the threads are cut slightly different. So with that being said, we will be updating these fuel pump replacement fittings to accept these new Banjo bolts, simultaneously also accepting these. It'll be just fine. But we will no longer be offering these in our kit. These Frank 4 Tom Zebra 9 Apple 376 Apple part numbers, because these are no longer available from Ford. We're just not going to be able to put them in our kit anymore. What I have done in the meantime, though, is I have found copper washers that are almost identical in size. I do believe we're going to be including those in our kits in place of these Ford parts. I would love to continue sending Ford parts out in our kit, but unfortunately, Ford has changed to this style of a Banjo bolt washer, and it will no longer be a part of our kit. I just can't trust this. I can't put this in our kit for the reasons mentioned earlier. Also, if you buy a new Banjo bolt, make sure that when you put it in our fuel pump replacement fitting or even your factory fuel pump, that you run it in and out of there a couple of times before you fully install it in your truck itself, because you don't want any shavings ending up in your fuel system. So that's all for today. It is the end of May. I got a couple new things in the works for you guys right now, but this is the only update for May of 2025. Thanks.